Good evening, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus with It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Simply Stamping Sunday. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am really happy that you're here. I hope everyone is doing well after the ice storm we had yesterday. I know in Keene we're fine, but I do know that there are some places that are not quite fine. So please know that I'm thinking of you. I know a few years ago when we had the giant ice storm, we were without power for 18 days, and I certainly hope that this storm is not going to be anywhere near like that one. All right, let's start with show and tell. So I don't have a lot to show you tonight because these cards took a long time to do all the die cutting, but I was using my Paper Florist dies for the first time, and I was using the Very Best Occasions stamp set, which I am using tonight in our presentation, but I made these really pretty cards and one home decor item with the Paper Florist dies. So here's the first one. I don't know which is my favorite one yet, but this one certainly is up there as one of my favorites. I used the Lost Lagoon and the Pool Party colors together in this card. So it came out really nice. I love it. The next card I used Petal Pink and Calypso Coral and used some of the different paper dies and actually used the fringe center as just an element of the card in this one. In this one here, I again used the Pool Party and Lost Lagoon, added a little bit of the ribbon right behind the flower. Just a very simple card, but I'm using the different elements from the Paper Florist dies. On this card here, this paper has mainly the crushed curry in it, and I took the Delightful Daffodil and the crushed curry cardstock and cut these same flowers, made 2 large ones and 1 small one, used the leaves die in the 2 different colors, and created this floral card, which I think came out really cool. And then the last one, I'm going to try to hold it so you get to see it, but don't have to see the glare of my ring light. I made this shadow box frame. It says, "This was done on the computer, it's not a stamp. Let your faith be bigger than your fear." And then I created, using all the different flowers, an arrangement inside, and put it all together that I'm going to hang up in either here in my craft room or in our living room, somewhere special. But that was the last item I made. So it took me a few hours to cut out all of the floral images that I needed. So it was busy for me. I'm just going to move this over just a little bit to try to get more of my mat in. So again, we're using Planted Paradise and Very Best Occasions as our stamp sets tonight. And this is the last week for this. Next Sunday's Easter. So I'm going to take Easter off, and I hope you have a great day spending it with family or friends. That's what we plan on doing. So let me move these out of the way because I've already mounted all the stamps that I need. Let's just do a quick review of what we've done so far this month. We started the month with just some simple stamping with this happy birthday card and the butterfly happy birthday card, and just again some simple stamping with the vases and the plants. And then in the second week we added some designer series paper. Again, did some very simple stamping, but added that bit of designer series paper. And then last week we went a little bit more detailed with both of these cards. with a lot of cutting, especially in this one, and using the designer series paper as a main focus of the card. Well, as I promised, tonight we are going to really think outside the box, and we are going to make some Christmas cards with this stamp set. Here is the first card that we're going to be making. I took the large pot from the set and have created, with the smaller pot and the little circles, I have created the the bubbles that we would hang from the Christmas tree, the more like the ball ornaments. And so that's the first card we're making. And the second card, I took some of the 3 leaves that go together, stamped them 3 times, added some greenery, and created a poinsettia. So we can think outside the box and do some great things with this too. So let me show you how I made these cards. For the first card, we are going to need some basic white cardstock to stamp on. I am only going to create one of these bulbs tonight because I know that you will be able to, they're all the same, they're just different colors, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing for all 3 by just creating one. It will just save a little bit of time. Let me just put this last stamp on. So I'm going to start with, I think, using the Blueberry Bushel ink. And I'm going to start by stamping the larger pot. So I'm going to get it all inked up in the Blueberry Bushel. And then I'm going to stamp that onto my basic white cardstock. Get this beautiful deep blue image. I'm trying to get that. I'm seeing that I have some kind of light, and I wonder if my camera is just too clear. There we go. Get that light out. Okay, so there's the base of the ornament. Now we need to make the top of the ornament. So I'm going to take my Smoky Slate stamp set and I'm going to ink up the other pot, but this time I'm going to put it upside down and I'm going to stamp this right at the top of the pot. Okay, so now you're seeing, I'm going to actually cut these both out, but I wanted you to see how it's going together. And then I'm going to add the little ring at the top of it. So that's what our ornament looks like. I'm going to cut it into 2 pieces though. So I'm going to set that aside. And through the magic of television, I have all of those cut out and ready to go. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, I don't know if you saw this in the sample, but I used some embossing. I used 1/8 of an inch up here where I did 5 different lines. And then I did 1/4 of an inch down here just to give it some dimension. So I'm going to get out my paper cutter and I'm going to take my piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch paper trimmer. And I'm going to move my cutting tool out of the way. And I'm going to go in, let's see, I went in about 3/4 of an inch. And then I started my embossing. And I'm just taking and adding that. Then I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch and do that a second time. And go another 1/8 of an inch for a third time. And then I'm going to do another 1/8 of an inch for a fourth time. And then do another 1/8 of an inch for a fifth time. Okay, so that gives us that embossed image at the top of, let's see if I can see it, the card. Then I'm going to go in this way. I'm going to go in 3/4 of an inch again, and I'm going to emboss. And then I'm going to go in 1/4 of an inch for my second time. Go in 1/4 of an inch for my third line. And go in 1/4 of an inch for my fourth line. And go in 1/4 of an inch for my fifth line. There we go. And that gives me now a place to put my designer series paper. And I have just, you know, it just makes a little bit of interest into the card. So I'm going to add this piece of Gloria's Gingham designer series paper. It's 1.5 by 4 inches. And that's going to go right in the middle here. So I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal to add that. And just going to put it right in the middle here. There we go. I'm using some non-traditional colors for this Christmas card, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to take the backs of the, oops, don't want it to stick on my table. There we go. And I am going to put one ornament here, and I'm going to put the other ornament at the bottom of the piece of cardstock, going in the opposite direction. I'm going to add the top of the ornament to each. I think I'm just going to pull this down a little bit so it's not coming off the top of the card. There we go. And then this part is going to go on dimensionals. So I am going to put this little piece along the top. And I just think these ornaments are so cute. I have to say, I did not think of this by myself. I was doing a Pinterest search, and I found this idea on Pinterest. I made it my own, changed it up a bit, but I did not have this genius of an idea myself, but I thought it was just too cool not to share. So this one's going to go stand up a little bit like that. So we have like the tumbling ornaments. Now I'm going to use one stamp that is not part of the Very Best Occasions. I wanted something really tiny that says Merry Christmas. So I got this stamp, this little tiny Merry Christmas stamp, out of the, what's it called? The cottage wreaths. And I just thought it was perfect because it was going to fit right in with, right into that space nicely. So that gives you an idea what that all looks like. Close this up. And I'm using a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 piece of thick basic white. Remember, all of the dimensions for this card are going to be right in the comments after the video tonight, so you don't have to write anything down. I'm going to attach this to the front of the card. And then on the inside, I am going to use "May your days be happy, your heart be light, your Christmas merry, and the new year bright." And this does come from the very best occasions. So I'm just going to stamp this off on a piece of paper to just make sure it's stamping straight, and it is. So now I can stamp that right in the center, and I have a Christmas card ready. Isn't that the coolest? So let me set this aside so that we can get started on our next card. I am going to need this card in a different color ink, so I'm just going to get out my cleaning pad and spritz it up so I can clean my stamps. I might as well clean the other ones I used as well. All right, here's the last one. Okay, for our next card, so we have some stamping to do on this card. So I'm going to start with the stamping. I'm going to be using, with the Blueberry Bushel, that stamp we just used in the upper corner of the front of the card. So make sure, yes. Okay, so there we go. Oh, it's a little, it's just a little tiny bit off. So I'm just going to, that's why we love cardstock, has two sides. So just have to bring it down a little bit. There we go, much better. All right, and on the inside, we're going to be stamping, "May you enjoy the warmth of family this season." And I am again going to stamp it on a piece of scrap paper. Perfect. And that's going to go right in the center. Okay, done with the blue. So I am going to fold this card base, which is the Blueberry Bushel cardstock, and it's cut 4 1/4 by 11. And this piece is going to go on the inside. So I'm going to put that right inside. There we go. And then we're going to do some stamping with my other images. So I need, for this, just the leaf and the two leaves, the two plants. So in Cherry Cobbler, I am going to need 3 of these stamped. And then I'm using Old Olive to stamp the leaves. And I'm going to use 3 of those, make 3 of those as well. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you've had a great day. It's been sunny, at least here. And if you're unable to join me on the live and you're watching me on the replay, thank you for joining me. And the same goes if you're watching on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like my page and subscribe to my channel. So now what I have to do is cut these out, and again, through the magic of television, I've got them all cut. So what I'm using, again, is the Glorious Gingham Designer Series paper, and this time I'm using a piece that measures 2 inches by 4 inches. It has a gingham check on both sides. I'm going to use this side, and this is going to go right at the bottom of my piece that's going on the front. And because it's Christmas, I wanted to have a little dazzle to be part of my card. So I cut a piece of the Dazzling specialty designer series paper. It's 3/8 by 4 inches, and it just looks like it has glitter just stuck right on the surface. So it definitely makes it seem like it's very Christmassy. So I am going to be putting this across here. And then I have cut out the 3 leaves in red, in cherry cobbler, and the leaves. And I've just taken a regular 1/4 inch. I only need 3 of these, but in case I dropped one, I figured I'd have an extra. I punched out with just the regular hole punch. I need 3 of those circles to go into the center. So I'm going to start by putting these together, and I'm just going to use our glue. So I am going to take a little glue and just, so you can see what I'm doing, put a little glue here on the bottom, and I am going to attach that. And then there's still a little glue here. I'm just going to add a little more, and I'm going to attach this piece here. So that gives us those, whoops, we're stuck to the paper. Let's fix that. And I'm going to bring my mat out. Put a little more glue down. This is my silicone mat, and nothing will stick to this. So it lets us, put that back and get it the way we want it to be. So now I can actually add 3 little dots of glue, and I'm going to use my Take-A-Pick tool and pick these up and add it to the center of my poinsettia. Okay, we can let those dry, but you can see what the flower looks like. Very pretty and glittery in the center. Now we need to add our leaves. So we have 3 different leaves, and I'm just going to put those in, 3 different spots. So I'm just going to add a little dot of glue down towards the stem on each of these flowers. And I am going to add them to the poinsettia, and I'm just going to need to hold it in place for a second for the glue to adhere. Isn't this a clever way to use this stamp set? I love it. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back. do it. There we go. I'm just going to set that aside for a minute. And I'm going to add this to the front of the card. And I'm going to add this to the front of the card. And there we have it, our second Christmas card of the evening. How cool is that? So let me bring in the 2 cards we made tonight. Get things out of the way. So tonight we made these great Christmas cards. And then over the month, we have also made these other really fabulous cards. And there we go. So those are all the cards we made this month using the Planted Paradise stamp set and the Very Best Occasions stamp set. So I have a great month. I've started planning April, and right now I think we're going to go with a floral set that can do some great things with just ink and paper. So I will be sharing that probably on Friday night when I do my Fun Fold Friday at 6 o'clock. So if you want to hear what set I'm going to be using for April, tune in Friday night at 6 o'clock. I hope everyone has a great week, and I hope you have a blessed Easter next Sunday, and I will see you all Friday night on Fun Fold Friday. Good night, everybody.